got sound, we've got sound, we've got picture, we got a can. We got sound? Yep. Cool. Alright. Oh, I need my list. Where's my talkie list? Oh, it's on there. Hang on. Chuck this over here. Alright, so I kind of figured that I hadn't done one of these videos for a while. I actually need to step in front of the camera and shoot a whole bunch of video. And I guess that these are pretty good for me to just get reacquainted and comfortable. I haven't been in front of a camera for a while. Man, I've got to stop looking at the screen down here. Maybe if I stick it up here. Oh, is that going to balance? No, it's not. The problems of shooting on your own. So yeah, I've got a whole bunch of videos to shoot, and to be honest, I've been avoiding it for the last couple of days. So, well, plus working. But yeah, whole bunch of stuff to run through. It's probably going to be waffly like normal, but to be honest, I just wanted to sit down and record some stuff because I think my last video was like February of this year, and it's now the end of June. Wow. But as usual, these videos are more designed for me to look back on, so blah, 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 usual stuff. So the first question, where have you been? What have you been up to? I guess it's been busy, is the nutshell. I think probably just after, like, basically from November onwards until now, it has been ridiculously busy. And then I've had some additional stuff on top of just work to try and sort out. So my family was over here in Perth. I think that was February. So pretty much I did that video, put that one out. I'm going to have to turn this off because otherwise I'm going to keep looking at it. So yeah, they came over in February, and that was probably like 4-ish weeks of that. We went to Bali, showed them around, and obviously I'm trying to work on top of that. In fact, my dad came out in one of the shoots that I did, so that was actually pretty cool. But obviously I'm trying to balance work and life and spending time with them, and the thing that goes is this sort of stuff. The sit down, optional extra, completely waffly. That's what I'm missing. Now I can hear myself. Oh, wow, that's amazing. That would have been better from the beginning, hey? You rookie. Anyway, after they disappeared, I was then out to Blazing Swan. So Blazing Swan, if you're not aware of what I do in other places, is it's WA's version of Burning Man. And I partake in running a cinema camp. So the concept of the festival that's not a festival is that it's no money once you go in. Everything is either self-reliance or gifted. So you need food, you either take it or you really hope someone's going to gift you something. So you take it. It is a bit of a, I guess, there's some dancing and that sort of stuff. But for me, I more enjoy the art side of it. So we run a cinema camp. The concept is that we shoot and edit video. So I shoot and edit video on site, and then put that out to people who are attending. And they come and watch that in the cinema. This year I shot, I think it was like 5 mini documentaries and then 1 large documentary. And you can't watch them anywhere because we only show them in the community. So at the moment they're really just sitting on this computer. We also built a bit of an art structure, and I'm not going to go into too much depth on all this sort of stuff because if you want to learn more about what we do, then go and look at the camp that we're on is called Cinnabar, and you can go and have a look at that on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. But I guess one of the things that has also fallen by the wayside is that I have not finished the longer documentary, and I have not finished all of the content that we shot there. Yeah, so post doing Blaze, I then got sucked into a whole bunch of other stuff, which I'm still sucked into, to try and assist that event. But basically, this is part of the bubble that is me being busy. Putting all that to one side, because that's personal, from a work perspective, it's been manic. And I guess to put it in some kind of context, I've probably had somewhere between, I think I worked it out to be like 16 and 20 projects on the go at once. And yeah, it's caused some problems. It's caused some problems for me personally to try and deliver that many products, and it's caused some professional problems as well in that I wasn't delivering projects. We're now at the end of June, and I feel like I've just about caught it all up. But I wanted to... Yeah, so that's kind of why I've not been doing these videos. And in fact, in a way, I've not been doing a lot of like company videos. So my videos where I go like and talk, the how to shoot video for your business has kind of fallen by the wayside. The monthly update videos have kind of followed by the wayside. And then on top of that, like I've always considered those sort of optional because they're they're important, but clients always come first. And so I guess I felt more probably within maybe a month ago, it really felt like I was falling apart. Like I wasn't delivering, I wasn't getting clients' work done. And yeah, I think that is one of the things that separates the company, separates what I do from other people, is that we do get it done, and we get it done, to budget and on time and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, we weren't. So I had to write a few emails to people and kind of explain what was going on. And in all honesty, I had a very positive reception. I think sometimes there's a point with people that if you actually step up and you're honest with people and say, hey, look, this is happening and we're sorry, they do get it. Like most of the people that I work with are small business owners, and therefore they understand that this sort of stuff happens and it's not a regular thing, and that you are working to get it sorted out. I think within that whole bubble, I identified a couple of things that were creating these issues. So the first thing is client expectations. And basically, it's a lack of me trying to set or control client expectations. So what happens is when we shoot a product, there's not usually a discussion around delivery times. And I do that deliberately because I was always concerned that if we said, it's going to take a month, people will be like, no, we aren't going to use you anymore. So I'm just trying to fix the cable because I can't see myself, and that makes it really hard to monitor things. Slightly better. So yeah, we didn't set client expectations, and that's because I didn't want to be held accountable. I always felt like, well, we always get stuff done, so we don't need to set delivery deadlines because we're always above and beyond what the client is expecting. And of course, as of the last few weeks, I've not been meeting those, like my own internal expectations. The flip side to that is when you don't set expectations for the client, they set their own. So what was happening was I would have, say, we have multiple projects on the go, but say I've got like 5 on the go. So this little piggy would jump up and down and be like, where's my project? And you do that, obviously taking time out of your schedule, and you'd be like, trying to get it done. And then that would go back out to the client. Meanwhile, these 3 others are all like, where's my project? Meanwhile, this first one then has effectively falsely claimed that they need their work, because they'll then sit on it for like another 2 months. So what's happening is they're basically raising it as a kind of a fake fire so that they can get it done, but then it's on their time frame. And what I need to learn is by setting expectations as to no, this is what we do, and if you're different, that's fine, we'll try and incorporate you, but this is what we standardly do. And so then they know that it will be coming back. And so they don't kind of like fire you. You're starting to control their expectations. I think I've explained that relatively well. Also a bit bad at the end. So what my thoughts at the moment are that we put in a standard turnaround time of a month from shoot, which used to be like that was ridiculously long amount of time, but now it's kind of reasonable. I think the other thing that I might implement is we've had a lot of clients who are putting projects on hold. They're basically, I think it's because they're bigger clients. So what they're tending to do is they need a lot of input from around the company, and then they kind of go, we'll just pause on that, we'll just hold, and we'll come back to you, and then it'll be like 4 months. And I think what I might need to do is write some terms and conditions around what happens if your project goes on hold. So it hasn't been too much of an issue with payment. Like when we've had that, we've kind of said to people, okay, we're going to get you to settle your account. But what is happening is it's chewing up hard drive space. So you have multiple projects, and then 3 of them are on hold, and say they're on hold for and some of them have been on hold for a really long time. We're talking like a year. One of them was on hold for 15 months. And that's a long time to be holding a lot of data. Meanwhile, you've got, you've shot 10 other projects, and they're all taking space on the hard drive. But if it's not productive space, that's a waste of space. Excuse me. So if you can keep your hard drive emptier, then obviously you've got more space to shoot, because there's nothing worse than coming back with loaded memory cards and then being like, oh, I can't actually dump these because I haven't got enough space, and you've got to file stuff off. So yeah, I think we also need to perhaps term some T's and C's around basically archiving projects. Wow, I got through that a lot quicker than I thought I was going to get through. I'll get to the going forward in a second. I probably should just expand in some other places then, because I thought this was honestly going to be a really long podcast. Project-wise, we've had a lot of bigger projects. So just, I guess, flashing back like 12 months this time last year, even probably 6 months ago, most of our projects were kind of big quantity, low quality. So lots of social, raw feeling advertising pieces. What we're tending to get now is a lot of like bigger pieces that seem to be bigger companies and bigger, like longer term projects. So there'll be maybe a corporate piece that needs to be maybe a 4 or 5 minute video, but it's a lot of footage. Like it's not just a small business promo where we do a quick script and a quick bit of B-roll, which the bigger ones mean we have to shoot more. And then obviously we have to go through those to make sure that we're picking out decent footage. And then on top of that, the clients are more specific as well. So they're more specific around what shots they want, the feeling, the tone, the pacing. Pacing has been a big one. We've shot some stuff with a lot of interviews, long interviews, and trying to find the right content to put in those has been difficult. But yeah, that's about as much as I've got in that section. But I think we're working, like we're now over that sort of hump. And I guess that kind of segments into my last little bit that I wanted to talk about, which was going forward. Like, what are we doing? So it's end of financial year. I finally feel from a workload perspective like it's under control, and maybe that's a bad thing, but I think I've knocked a few projects on the head. I've kind of archived a few, and the rest I've kind of got under control, and they're like now with clients, which is really good. I think the reason that I got busy is because we were shooting so much. I was just shooting, and I didn't have time to edit because I was constantly out shooting. So I do feel like I've worked pretty hard to make sure that client delivery is basically back on track, and that's actually it's a nice feeling, but it's a weird feeling, because the weird feeling is now I've got to work out what I was supposed to be doing, because literally it feels like my feet have not touched the ground since probably November. Things that, for example, we need to get back on track would be, the website is, but website internal marketing has all kind of dropped down to the back end. Like our posting on social has been particularly poor. Posting on website has been in and out at best. And those are the sort of things that you do need to keep on top of to make sure that your business is relevant. Because I can already note that we're actually going into a quieter period, which should be nice, but obviously there's always that point where it goes quiet and then you're like, where's my income coming from? So the main focus now is just, or has been for the last few weeks, is just getting back on track, getting back on track for like client delivery. But then the next step going forward is really getting back on track from the company perspective. Now, with that, I will be bringing on another editor. The editing situation has been an interesting one. So I had somebody work with me probably for about 6 to 9 months, and that would have been probably a year ago or something like that. And then work took a dip, and obviously didn't need them as much. And then from there, they were already kind of temporary anyway, and they decided that was the right time for them to move on, which is fair enough. Like from there, I kind of, didn't really need an editor. But then the work started to pick up again, and I tried to, I brought someone in, working remotely, it sort of worked, but I think there was definitely, I think the biggest thing out of it was really that communication was so much harder. When you've got someone sitting next to you, it's so easy to kind of keep an eye on what's going on. When you've got when you don't have them there, they're somewhere else. It's very hard to make sure that you get what you want, they get what they want, and that communication is free and back and forth. They decided to move on probably about maybe 2 or 3 months ago now, I think. And from there, I delved into the world of online editors, and man, that was some adventures. So I have tried the Upwork thing, and it takes having so my editor who worked remotely from still in Perth. The ones that I then engage with on the line.
Online. Quick interjection. When you keep saying on the line, you do mean online.
Stuart, don't do that.
Well, I tried the Philippines because I've heard good things about their work ethic. But I ended up with a guy from the Netherlands, and it's to talk through the kind of like going out and getting someone. Like, you think it's an easy process. It should be easier for me because I understand how to edit and that sort of thing. So I know what I'm looking for, right? If you were, an average business owner or an average person, and you just decide to go out there and do this and you've got no clue, I think it would be even harder. But it was still pretty hard for me. There were people who wanted to argue with me about programs to use, even though I was very specific about what I wanted from them. And it's like, no, I edit in this. It's like, no, you're part of this company, therefore you need, for integration purposes, you need to be able to edit in this program. There were people who, there was some atrocious work out there. Anyway, I ended up going with this guy from the Netherlands who, we worked pretty well. He was very trusting. They obviously have protection on how payments are done, but we kind of broke that just to make sure that, it's kind of equal. But the annoying thing, the thing that bugged me was every time every time you've got a new project, you have to go out and do almost like a rebid, because you're like, oh, I've got this and I've got that. And they're very much on the cheap end, which you think, oh, that's great, I'm not going to spend a lot of money. But then they're kind of like, oh, this is going to take me 4 years, and you're like, mate, it would take me 5 minutes, I just need you to do this. So you very much have to monitor. You're very much setting the bar for them to be like, this is the amount of money that I want you to cost. And then you've got no idea whether they charge you, whether it actually takes them that long. I had a guy, actually, that was the other one of why somebody decided to use unlicensed software, which then meant when I sent something back out to them, they couldn't see it, and it's like, oh my god. So basically, I went through that process and I gave it a good go, but I'm not sold on it. I don't think it's the future of work. I don't think it's how we're all going to make a living. I think it did make me wonder whether if I put myself out there, whether I'd gain absolute rubbish jobs or whether it would be an interesting kind of additional income. But no plans at the moment to head down that route. Anyway, so I now have a new editor who starts next week. I actually had a relatively successful employment campaign for this. I didn't do anything really differently. I kind of updated what I asked for a little bit, but pretty much the same thing as what I've always asked for when I send out editor adverts. I didn't boost it. I didn't sponsor it. I didn't really put it anywhere other than, I think, Facebook. And yeah, I did still have some interesting people who applied. So my top 2 are, number 1, I specifically asked people that they should be working a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 because that's a business hours I had. But, I'm targeting a younger demographic probably. I'm targeting students who I'm targeting students because they're cheaper, and I don't need like a grade A editor. I need somebody who's going to, come up. I need a young, enthusiastic person who wants to get paid. Anyway, so I had a student apply who then said they were still going to school, and I'm like, isn't your school hours going to clash with what, I want you to work? And they're like, oh, yeah, it will. But let me know if you're still interested. And I'm like, are you freaking... No, I'm not interested. Like, anyway, the other one that I got was a guy who's on holiday. So he said to me in his message, like, oh, I'm from the Philippines. And so I'm like, oh, okay. Presume you've got a visa. And he's like, yeah, I'm on a tourist visa. I'm like, a working holiday visa? He said, no, a holiday visa. And I'm like, are you freaking serious, man? Like, first of all, I'm looking for someone like long-term who's actually going to invest in the company. Second, your portfolio is absolutely disgusting. And secondly, stop messing around on visas. Like, why on earth would you think that's appropriate to go to a country on a holiday visa and then be like, oh, I'm just going to pick up some work? I mean, I literally said in my advert, like, you need an ABN, blah, 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 blah. All that's like, you're going to get noticed. Also, your work's rubbish. So I'm just like, why would you not enjoy your holiday when you come here? I mean, admittedly, come to Australia in a better time than winter, but whatever, mate. Anyway, the positives. Oh, it's fizzy on my bubbles by my tongue.
Oh! The bubbles are burning my tongue! Oh! Water!
Yeah. It's fizzy. It's very fizzy. It's fizzy. It's gone fizzy.
Positive. So I had 2 really good people apply. And I basically had to make a bit of a decision. I had somebody who was a bit cheaper and wanted a bit more of an all-round experience. And I had another person who was a slightly more expensive, but definitely wanted to go down to the editing experience. And I actually ended up you can decide at home who I went for, but obviously I know because I shot this video and this video is for me. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So I would normally go for the all-rounder. Because they're an all-rounder. They want to try and learn everything and all that sort of stuff. Plus, it's cheaper, right? But I actually ended up going the other way, and I think that I need to actually invest a bit more. So I need somebody who's going to cost a bit more, and I think I want somebody who actually wants to sit in that box. Like, that editing box is a difficult one to sit in, but they're very firmly, I want to do this. So anyway. They start shortly. I think it will be interesting to see what happens on that little adventure, as is every little adventure with having your own business. Beer doesn't normally get to me, but there you go. So, yeah, I think that will be interesting to see how they go. I think it's going to be interesting as well because I am coming off the back of that busy period, and then... there was a part of me that was like, oh, what am I actually going to give you? And as I said at the beginning of this, I've actually spent the last 2 days avoiding shooting videos because I haven't done them for a while. But the intention for them is, as is always with my editors, is start them on internal stuff, get them comfortable, get them used to a way of working, get them used to, and I've definitely developed the way, and I've written a few processes about the way that I think people should edit, file structures, and how I guess I tend to edit in a more non-destructive manner. And I do that because often we have to put stuff back in. It's a bit difficult to explain, but I guess, again, these videos are for me, so it's a bit of a memory jogger. Anyway, so yeah, editor on board next week. Other stuff, tax time is pretty much here. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to do a bit of a video, actually, because I was like, we're 6 months through the year and I've hardly done anything to kind of keep track as to what's going on. So as usual, I do need to do more of these, and hopefully we're more back on track and blah, 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 blah. More videos, probably not to follow. See you in 2030. Tax time is here. One of the issues that we've had for working with bigger companies is payment terms. They are very good at stretching out their payment terms. So often they will be like end of the month plus 30 days, which can often be therefore 60 days. And that is annoying. It's annoying from a cash flow perspective. I also had to go through the accounts. So I've been through the accounts a couple of times. One, we've had some issues with regards to actually just like system issues, trying to sort those out, but in the meantime I've been so busy that I haven't been issuing invoices. So invoices for May is like a load of them, which probably means I'm going to get absolutely butchered when I do my tax. But what's also then happened is I haven't been checking to see who's been paying. I have when it's important product and it's small stuff, and yeah, I check the small stuff because those are the clients who are typically small businesses, and they will pull the payment terms because they're like, well, we've got the product and so now we don't really need to pay, we'll just hold on to that for a little bit longer and blah 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 blah. But so I've had to chase like a bunch of small businesses, but it's actually the big businesses that are causing the problem because they have such wide payment terms, and so they're like, well, we're a big business and screw the small person. So I did have a fair chunk of money outstanding from big business. So it's been a case of chasing that. And there was one of them who's literally like, oh, our accounts department has scheduled it. And they literally, it's Friday 28th, the end of the financial year is the 30th. So effectively there's 0 working days. They apparently paid it today. And I'm like, you're really going to have to push to like the last minute. So yeah, thank you. So I guess as part of this whole getting back on track, like invoicing and making sure that people are paying is definitely something that I'm bringing back. I'm also bringing back from a long time ago, but hopefully improved, is a sort of survey. So a product survey once we've actually finished, then actually get some feedback from clients. And my main hope is, in all honesty, is to try and get some marketing material out of it. Quite often we don't really hear too much from people, so they'll receive their product and then it's just a case of like, oh, sweet, thanks, and you don't get any feedback, which means that it's very difficult to continuously improve your business if you don't hear from people. I think one of the things that I've definitely done as a business owner, like going to other businesses, is I'm far more open with constructive feedback. If it's really positive, I'll be really positive. If I had a bad time, I'll be like, but make it constructive. Make it like, oh, well, this was bad and this is what you could do about it, or here's my opinion on, try and be reasonable. But the thing that I wanted to end on was around, I guess because it is end of financial year effectively, is more of a finance update. And obviously I don't talk about finance on here in numbers. I was thinking like, maybe one time I can kind of do a flashback and start talking about stuff that's completely irrelevant now. But I think, and I could have my maths completely wrong here, but I think we've had a good year. Like, it's completely crazy because I was speaking to someone and my gut feel was it was bad, which, by the way, is a note to self of like having gut feeling. Yeah, sure, great, whatever, but actually not knowing is a really bad thing and I should be better about this. I think I obviously do my best statements like once a quarter, so they give me a fair indication, but I kind of did the whole like add up what we'd done over the year divided by 12 and was pleasantly surprised at what the average monthly income was. No, I don't think I'll talk about that any sort of further, but I go back to it's still quite difficult running a business on your own because like there's no, when you go to school and you get your school report and you come home and your parents are like, ooh, you're in trouble, or like, oh, well done. There's none of that, and there's no annual performance review. There is no one in this in your own business to be like, you know what, man, you did all right, or you know what, man, you need to get a kick up your bum because you're not doing so well. Which it's difficult. like, I think I've always been kind of motivated by other people, usually by the fact that they're quite negative, and I'm like, well, f you, I'm going to go do something better and prove you wrong, sort of thing. But I don't really get that here. I mean, I kind of sense it on a few things, but yeah, so it's kind of anticlimactic sometimes. And I think I did talk about it in a one of these vlogs where I said about you know, the whole one thing I miss about corporate is that annual review when your boss comes around and like spanks you or feeds you chocolate or whatever they're supposed to do. But yeah, so I think like company finances seem to be good. So what does that kind of mean going forward? And this will be the last bit. I think as a business, like I'm definitely trying to step up, bringing or making a commitment to bring an editor in. Like, even though I've been here before, I'm kind of viewing it a little bit differently. I'm trying to view it as an investment for the company. I'm trying to view it as, this will take us up a level, which means I can concentrate on different stuff. I'm kind of trying to change my, who loves this word, mindset, so that instead of it just being, well, I need someone to help me because we're busy, it's like, no, I need someone to help me so that I can focus on other stuff. And that is a little bit different. I think the other thing that I've been thinking about is investing in myself. Like, I went to a social media conference during the week, and yeah, like, it costs money. I'm still not entirely sure of the value, but it's the first thing that I've actually been to whilst working for myself, that's actually, you know, a bit of self-development, because I think that as a product, what we're doing, it's now, it feels very tuned, like it's coming out at kind of the level that I want. I've started to have confidence, or like I've got confidence in what we're doing, because I've seen other work from other people, and I've now seen like behind their scenes as well, and there's definitely, like, I definitely think we're putting out better. And I think sometimes when you go on set and you see someone with a bigger camera, and you know, they kind of move and walk around as if they know what they're doing, and then you look at their stuff and you're like, like, why? I think that mine is better than that. So yeah, that's a nice boost of confidence. But overall, I think what I want to be doing is taking the company up a level. I think like I've hit an earning ceiling. I think maybe prices need to be adjusted slightly, but I'm confident in what we're doing. I think, yeah, we're trying to move up a little bit. So we're trying to, I guess we're trying to, you know, it's still some of the same stuff. It still means we need to get like more regular clients and blah 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 blah. But yeah, I just feel like we're closer to that next level, and yeah, we should be there. We should be moving along. That was a bit of a rubbish end to this vlog. But anyway, I guess it's all coming straight from my brain, and you know. Anyway, with that, I'm going to sign this one off. Obviously, these videos are only designed for me, but I want to thank you for watching. If you're a random person watching on the internet, welcome to this sort of schmozzle. As usual, I'll promise to deliver a video sooner rather than later, and I'll deliver it later rather than sooner. But yeah, if you are a random person on the internet, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.